You probably clicked on this video instead of doing something you were actually supposed to be doing, which, in a beautiful, self-sabotaging twist, makes you the perfect test subject for today's topic: procrastination. Why do we keep putting things off, even when we know we'll regret it later? And why does "I'll do it tomorrow" feel like the most believable lie we keep telling ourselves? Procrastination isn't laziness. Laziness is, "I don't want to do it." Procrastination is, "I want to do it, but somehow I'm just going to stare at this wall first." Psychologists call it a self-regulation failure. In simpler terms, our brain is an overcomplicated toddler. It wants candy now and homework later. The candy could be scrolling TikTok, watching one more episode, or reorganizing your desktop icons, because apparently that's urgent. Inside your head, there's a constant tug-of-war between two systems: the limbic system, your emotional, impulsive, instant gratification brain, and the prefrontal cortex, the logical grown-up who pays taxes and plans ahead. When you're motivated, the prefrontal cortex runs the show. When you're tired, stressed, or bored, the limbic system hijacks control like a toddler grabbing the steering wheel. That's when you suddenly decide cleaning your entire room is more important than finishing your presentation. So, yes, procrastination is biological, but it's also emotional. It's less about time management and more about mood management. You're not avoiding the task, you're avoiding the feeling attached to it: boredom, fear of failure, perfectionism, uncertainty. We delay action not because we can't start, but because starting makes us confront the uncomfortable possibility that we might suck at it. That's why smart people often procrastinate the most. The more intelligent or self-aware you are, the better you are at rationalizing. You can build elegant excuses. "I work better under pressure." "I'm just letting ideas marinate." Or my favorite, "I'm waiting for inspiration." Sure, Picasso, you're not waiting for inspiration. You're waiting for panic to become motivation. The funny thing is, procrastination feels like a relief at first. You dodge the stress of the task, but it's like using a credit card for emotions. You buy a little comfort now, pay triple later. That's why procrastinators often feel guilty even while they're relaxing. You can't enjoy your Netflix binge when your to-do list is whispering you're supposed to be writing a report. It's mental purgatory, not working, not resting, just existing in guilt. And the internet doesn't help. We live in an economy of distraction. Apps are literally designed to outcompete your prefrontal cortex. Every notification is a tiny dopamine shot saying, "Forget the hard thing. Look at this cat wearing sunglasses." It's like trying to read a book while someone waves French fries in your face. But here's the twist: procrastination isn't always bad. Sometimes your delay is subconscious incubation. Your brain is mulling things over in the background, connecting dots you don't see yet. That's why good ideas often strike you in the shower. Your mind finally gets quiet enough to process the task you've been avoiding. The key difference is active procrastination versus passive avoidance. One is creative delay, the other is emotional paralysis. So, how do you outsmart the part of your brain that doesn't want to be outsmarted? Start by making tasks emotionally bite-sized. The brain hates vague. "Write report" sounds huge and undefined. "Write the first sentence" is doable. Once you start, momentum kicks in. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency for unfinished tasks to stay mentally active until completed. Basically, your brain becomes itchy until you finish what you started. Another trick: lower the starting friction. Don't plan to go to the gym. Plan to put on gym shoes. Once your shoes are on, the rest often happens automatically. The same applies to work. Open the file, name the document, type literally anything. Momentum beats motivation every time. And please, stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. Think of it like jumping into a cold pool. You'll never feel ready standing on the edge. Jump first, complain later. Now let's talk about perfectionism, procrastination's evil twin. We tell ourselves we're not starting because we want it to be perfect, but perfectionism is really just fear wearing a fancy suit. You're scared of judgment, failure, or realizing your work doesn't match your imagination. But the ugly first draft is a necessary step to anything great. The cure for perfectionism isn't confidence, it's permission. Permission to be messy, wrong, and still in progress. Want another counterintuitive fix? Forgive yourself for procrastinating. Seriously, studies show that self-forgiveness actually reduces future procrastination. Beating yourself up creates shame, and shame fuels avoidance. It's a loop. Forgive, reset, move on. You're human, not a productivity robot. Also, stop overloading your to-do list. Every unchecked box is a tiny psychological failure. Instead, pick your one non-negotiable for the day, the task that, if done, makes the day a win. Finish that, then everything else feels like bonus points. And remember, procrastination thrives in uncertainty. The clearer you make your next step, the less power the limbic system has. Your brain craves direction. Give it structure, not punishment. But let's go deeper. Why do we emotionally need procrastination in the first place? Because it gives us control over time. When you delay, you're essentially saying, I decide when I act. It's rebellion against obligation. It's a mini protest against the pressure of expectations from others or yourself. That's why even successful people procrastinate. It's their way of reclaiming autonomy in a world that constantly demands output. Yet, ironically, chronic procrastination leads to losing that very control. Your deadlines start controlling you instead. So, in a weird way, discipline is freedom. The less you negotiate with your emotions, the more time you actually own. Let's end on this. Every time you procrastinate, you're not lazy, broken, or stupid. You're just human. Your brain is trying to protect you from discomfort, but growth is discomfort. You can't evolve if you only act when it feels good. The trick is to work with your brain's wiring, not against it. Reduce friction, start small, forgive often, and let progress be messy. And if you're still watching this video, instead of doing your real work, congratulations. You've just turned your procrastination into productive procrastination. At least now you know why you're doing it. And that's the first step to breaking the cycle. So take a breath, open that tab you've been avoiding, and do one small thing. Your future self will thank you. Probably tomorrow, but still.